Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your day, guys. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, tea, coffee, matcha, hot cocoa. What are we having today, guys? What are we having today? I got some green tea and some Coca-Cola, and I'm having some green tea. Guys, I'm not even hungry, so I don't know what's up with that. So my dog Danny's going for her heartworm treatment today, guys. Fingers crossed, hands together, please. I'm gonna have them give her another heartworm test. Make sure that she has to have the treatment. Guys, remember I did a video yesterday, NPG Cornerstone. What's that stand for? Nicholas Paul Go to John Cornerstone. Mr. Smiley. Why does he call himself Mr. Smiley? Guys, so there was a few things that were brought up, and I highly recommend this Facebook page, and I highly recommend this YouTube channel. Again, I don't know who's behind it. A few of you have been like, it's fancy. I don't think it's fancy. I don't know who it is, but whoever it is, they're on Nick's side. And, you know, in all fairness, Nick's side does need to be heard. A lot of people don't know Nick's side because Gypsy's side is so loud and obnoxious and got that voice that hardly any of us hear Nick's side. Nick's side has been squashed. Guys, Nick has a side. And Nick was a good kid who did nothing wrong. A little something in a McDonald's, but we're not sure about that, to be honest with you. He definitely never unalived anybody. He wasn't a vicious, malice, or dark person. None of that's true. You know, he felt like he did something because it was the only way to save the woman he loved, because that's what was told to him over and over and over again. But there's some untruths about some stuff that we heard that, you know, we should get straight. So there, and I reported on this as well, because I read in one of the I think it was one of the lawyers on Nick's side said something to the effect that Nick thought that Gypsy lost a child that was his because of a feeding tube that Dee Dee made Gypsy insert, or was inserted into Gypsy or taken out of Gypsy. And Gypsy told Nick that she lost a daughter. That was their daughter. Now, we go back to that now because there were a few things that I thought about as I listened to the interrogation of how Nick couldn't perform very well. And then Nick also wore protection for the first time, and that it was uncomfortable, and that didn't help in his performance. And then I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, I'm a gay woman, but I definitely know how that shit works. But then I think of Gypsy, and I think, could Gypsy have told him otherwise? Could Gypsy have said, well, maybe the thing broke, or maybe there was a hole in it, or maybe I put a hole in it, I don't know. I mean, but the truth is that she wasn't.
They saw Cinderella on March 12th, the night before opening at 5 p.m., and 11 weeks later she said she was late. Next, she publicly claimed that he wasn't excited enough to perform, but he knows he was excited enough to take her V-card. They had only one goal to achieve during their 5 minutes of bliss in the men's bathroom, and last, which we are sure many don't know according to their clickbaiting posts, is that he said it was the first time he ever wore protection. Could be wrong here, but with all those added up, a 7th grader in S.Ed class could figure out that she couldn't have gotten pregnant at that time. At least by Nick.
But is that the thing that she told Nick that made Nick say, okay, we're gonna do this? Then there's another story as we know about the brownies. Remember the you know the video with the brownies? You're gonna eat brownies and Cindy's gonna be eating. You remember that? And we see how she's not grown at all, because we see that she had just put something not even a week ago, 2024 now, when she's 30-something years old, talking about her intimacy with friggin' Ken, right? And how talented Ken is in the intimacy department. That's what she put in something that I think Nina posted, which is really disgusting at your age, mom to be. When are you going to start acting like a mom to be? When have things shifted and it wasn't just gas? When was that, Gypsy? Because it hasn't happened. The brownies. people were thinking, where'd they get the brownies from? Who made brownies? Who had time to make brownies when they were unaliving Dee Dee? Was she making the brownies and then they unalive Dee Dee? Did they unalive Dee Dee and then make the brownies? Did they give Dee Dee brownies? Remember
Papa John.
Pizza? We're thinking NPG Cornerstone. They're saying, that's where the brownies came from. Remember when
Papa John
started giving those brownies? Remember the pizza brownies away with their
Papa John's
pizza? That was when the brownies were introduced to those. So they're thinking the brownies were not anything that Gypsy made or that Nick made. We already know that Gypsy can't cook. Gypsy tried to make mac and cheese and not heat the shit up. She had the ingredients. I guess she could read, but she didn't read the part about heating it up. Anyway, guys, right? So I told you that, right? So now the brownies that were so good that they just had to eat after the unalivement came from
Papa John's.
Wasn't from anything that anybody cooked. Dee Dee didn't cook them, anything like that. And, you know, that's why I say we should watch the Nicholas Paul Godejohn NPG Cornerstone Nation. It's Cornerstone Nation. I keep forgetting the word nation. Cornerstone Nation on YouTube or Facebook, because it is his side. Whether it is something that Nick is telling somebody to say or somebody just has his best interest at heart, we know he got totally ripped off. I don't know what we're waiting on now for him to finally say something. I think ultimately he's going to say something. I just don't know when he's going to say something. But Nick, you should say something now. You should say something now, because now, in all seriousness, there is a child at stake. And if Gypsy is violent, and Gypsy had anything to do with what really happened, and we all think she did more than you, Nick, you need to tell people, because that would be the right thing to do. She might not be the safest person to have a child. You know, and wouldn't you feel horrible, Nick, if something happened to that child and you knew that Gypsy was capable of something happening to that child? Come on. That's, you know. So I'm hoping that Nick will get it together, and I really do like these NPG Cornerstones. Again, I don't know who's behind them, but I do think some of the stuff is very valid, and it's interesting and gives us an insight into things we didn't see that day. They also talked about, you remember how I kept saying, they said that Gypsy, that Dee Dee died on the 9th, but Nick didn't get there till the 10th. Well, there's a little bit of discrepancy there too, as well as they mean the 10th as far as early in the morning, like 2 a.m., 2 hours just after the 9th. So
in the confusion. After reading such comments, we figured we had to make another post on this topic. First, let's look at the facts and evidence that is out there. The shrew said her mother was unalived sometime on the 9th, but did not remember what day it was. She remembered it was the 9th because she was supposed to sneak out of the house and meet Nicholas outside on the above-mentioned date. Nicholas also clarified that on the day that he unalived her mom, he arrived at their home via a yellow taxicab. Nicholas said the taxi picked him up from his hotel room and dropped him off at the Blanchards. Documented evidence shows that on Monday, June 8th at 3:30 p.m., Nicholas took a Greyhound bus from Wisconsin to Springfield. On Tuesday, June 9th at 5:05 a.m., Nick arrived in Missouri. He began walking to the hotel, and at 6:36 a.m., Nick checked in at the Days Inn room 227. Late that evening on Wednesday, the 10th at 1:57 a.m., a yellow cab driver picks up Nick from the Days Inn, and then at 2:08 a.m., it is logged in that Nick arrived at the Blanchard home. This means he arrived 2 hours and 8 minutes into the morning of the 10th.
I wish that Nick would just do an interview today where we could just ask him questions. He didn't have any concerns about, was he going to win Gypsy back? Wasn't he going to win Gypsy back? He's never going to talk to Gypsy again. I think that he might realize that now. He owes her nothing. He owes himself to tell the truth. So I'm hoping at some point he will do that, because I think karma is out to get Gypsy, and she's running out of time, man. I really think that that's going to happen. She's starting to lose it a little bit. I think Gypsy's starting to see that at the end of this roller coaster there might not be a safe off-ramp. So, guys, this is Issues with Toddy Oneskip. I just wanted to share the information I had with you, and yeah, We'll see you next time. Don't forget, be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always be kind, guys. Always be kind. Don't forget, August 2nd. The sentencing for Christopher Gregor, that monster that unalived his son, Corey Michelo, who was only 6 years old. Guys, check out my community tab and find out if you can come to that sentencing. We're able to help people get there. If you can write a letter to the judge to throw the book at Christopher Gregor. And if you guys can put up the profile photo of Corey for 3 days. Guys, check out the community page, please. I appreciate it. Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always, always be kind, guys. Never be Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Ever. See you next time.